Hi guys, Angelfish Keeper here, and today I'm just going to do a quick video on general angelfish care and what you actually need to look after angelfish if you're thinking of keeping them. The first thing I would say is do your research on angelfish, learn where they come from, learn the specific needs, talk to other people that keep angelfish, see what their experiences are with them. And that way you can make the decision whether it's the fish that you're going to enjoy keeping. So I've got 4 of them in here. I've kept angelfish for about 8 years now, and I've bred them for 6 successfully. I've put thousands of angelfish into the market over the years. So this is just, I only know about them from my own experiences. I don't know other people's experiences with them, so I'm just going to tell you my experiences. I would always recommend do your own research. Don't just go off my personal experience. Do your own research and make sure these are the fish you want. So the angelfish are a cichlid, quite a large cichlid as well. They're going to get about 6 to 8 inches long, but they're going to get about 10 inches to a foot tall, and they can live for up to 10 to 15 years. So quite a long living fish if looked after properly. And in here we have 4 platinum blue silvers. Stunning male there. These are a fish from the Amazon River Basin, but they go as far from Colombia and Venezuela all the way down to Peru. You can find these guys. And there's hundreds of different colour variants on the market for angelfish now. You can get blacks, you can get platinums, you've got clowns, zebras, silvers, koi, all sorts. It's just going to depend what your personal taste is. First thing you're going to want to think of for angelfish though is the tank. When it comes to breeding, if you're going to be breeding them, I wouldn't recommend anything less than a 4-foot tank, and I would get about 8 to 10 angels, bang them all in and let them pair off naturally. Get them about this size, let them pair off naturally, and then you can separate your pairs as they get older, rather than just trying to pick out male and female, because there's no guarantee you're going to get anything. The taller the aquarium for these guys, the better, but if you can't manage a tall aquarium, it doesn't matter. You can still have angelfish, just as long as the aquarium's at least 15 inches tall. Like, these guys aren't going to stay in this tank forever. It's only a 2-foot tank by a foot by a foot, so it holds like 70 litres. And that's like the bare minimum I would put an angelfish in. And I've got 4 of them in here, and they do a bit of bickering, but I think because there's a lot of plants, they haven't killed each other. And because mine have actually sorted out a hierarchy, so this is the dominant pair, and the less dominant pair is knocking about. But because they're not both constantly trying to upstep each other, they haven't killed each other. They're getting along, if you can call it that. They all have perfect fins, not a problem. Found the best substrate for angelfish is sand. It's where it's found with them in the natural habitat. They're found in the deeper parts of the rivers, so they'll be amongst the tree roots. So you want to make sure there's lots of plants, rocks, wood, for them. But the taller tank is better just because of the body shape. They're not like a standard cichlid. These guys are going to get taller than they are long, so the length's not so much a problem, it's the height. if you can get a 2-foot tall aquarium, that'll be spot on for these. pH anywhere from 6.5 up to 7.6. You know, these guys aren't fussy on water. I wouldn't go any higher, but water parameter wise, they're not fussy. Obviously you want 0 nitrite, 0 ammonia, and your nitrates, you know, you want as low as possible. Do plenty of water changes. The bigger these guys get, the messier they get. As a precaution, they're best kept with bigger tetras if you want to keep them with tetras. As long as you get them small, like I have, you can keep them with cardinals and neons, because by the time your angelfish actually get anywhere near big enough, your cardinals and neons have usually died off by then, because they only live for like 2-3 years. But angelfish are a big fish, but with a small mouth. You know, they don't get big at all, the mouths on these guys. But if you don't want to risk it, keep them with things like rosy tetras, black phantom tetras, you know, chunky bodied tetras. But there's no way in hell these guys are going to eat. Do not keep them with shrimp, because that is just expensive food. Angelfish will demolish shrimp and all that kind of stuff. Even the bigger shrimp, like the bamboo shrimp, which I've got up here. The only shrimp I would risk with these is the African armoured shrimp, because they're going to get about 6 inches. It's a big shrimp, but obviously it says in the name African armoured. It is armoured. It's more like a lobster, but it is a shrimp. And they're probably your best bet, but obviously there's no guarantee. These guys are opportunistic feeders, so if they want to eat something, they will try. You know, Corys are a great tank mate for these guys. I do 2 water changes a week on this tank. I don't do crazy, I don't do 50% water changes. 2 20% water changes on this tank. I don't preheat the water before it goes back in, you know. I just put the water in cold. I don't mess on with getting it to tank temperature. You know, because if I was going to do that, to be honest, I might as well drain that tank and then drain that tank into that tank. You know, what's the difference? So I don't mess on with the temperature. I add the water conditioner and that's it, and then I tip it straight in, give it a quick mix, tip it straight in. Never had a problem, but you know, find your own way to do it. You've got to make the hobby work for you. You know, not everybody's way is going to work for other people. You know, my way works for me, might not work for you. So you know, you try and at your own risk. Basically, what I would say is do your own research into angelfish, you know, because they can be hit and miss. I mean, I've never had a problem with mine in the whole 8 years I've been keeping them. I've never had one eat another fish. I've never had them kill each other, you know. And then I've heard other people, they've just had one and it's terrorized the entire tank. And you know, I just think, what do you mean? I've never had that. In 8 years, I've never had a horrible angelfish. Yes, they fight between each other like that, but that's all you get out of them, is a bit of chasing, you know. There's no ripped fins on him, as you can see. No ripped fins. No ripped fins. Just a bit of chasing, that is all. They're really easy fish to keep, as long as you can keep, you know, your water right. All fish are easy to keep, you know. I always say it's not the fish, it's the water. If you can keep the water right, your fish will be fine. You know, the key is the water. It's not the fish, it's the water. If your water's to shit, you're gonna lose your fish, you know. fish are essentially living in their own toilet. That's what you got to think about. So I do water changes little but often, rather than one big water change a week, you know. That's the way I see it. But yeah, really easy fish to keep, really rewarding fish to keep as well, especially if you get them breeding. You know, they'll lay their eggs on a flat leaf, like a Java fern or Amazon sword, or like I've done there, piece of slate. They'll lay their eggs on that, they'll hatch within 3 days. Really good parents generally. I mean, these in here have had 2 spawns and eaten them both, unfortunately. But I'm going to keep trying with them. We'll get there eventually. They'll take a variety of flake, frozen, pellet foods. They're not fussy whatsoever. Really good centerpiece fish for a planted tank as well. Can be kept with a variety of fish, barbs, tetras, other cichlids like geophagus, rams, discus. You know, you can keep them with pretty much anything. But if you're going to keep them with smaller fish like neons or cardinals, keep them well fed, and then not going to go looking for food, you know. So yeah, that's just a general care guide for angelfish. You know, they're not rocket science to keep. These are generally pretty bulletproof fish, and if you can't keep these alive, you know, fish keeping's probably not the hobby for you. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe. And bye.